Hi everyone, I'm Homerino and welcome to the review. This time I'm going to be showing you something that I have been looking forward to for so long. At the start of the year, ish, when Soundwave was released, it was shown that there could possibly be a Hasbro release of it, and then eventually it was revealed and nothing was shown of it. We weren't sure if it was going to come with all the cassettes or something. We had a pretty good idea that it would, but yeah, so as soon as that was announced, I said to myself, I'm going to wait for it. Finally it's been released, and that is what I'm going to be reviewing for you today. As you can see, it's the Transformers Masterpiece Soundwave. Now if I bring you down to the bottom here, as you can see, it does come with all the cassettes. Now this thing is called MP-02. MP-01 Hasbro wise is the Acid Storm repaint of the more recent Starscream Masterpiece figure. Basically with this set you get everything. So the Takara version, it came with just Laserbeak and a few accessories which I'll show you soon. And then there's the main difference, as you can see up here, which I will show you later as well. He's got yellow eyes. The Takara version has the red eyes. So as I'm talking, I'll just show you around the box. And basically, so then that Soundwave cost about $200 or so, and then for the other sets, like the Rumble and Frenzy and the Ravage and Buzzsaw sets, they come in 2 packs. They're like $50 each or something, so you're paying about $300 or so, maybe more on eBay or whatever. There has been a second run release of that one, so if you want the Takara version, that's the way to go. But yeah, extremely expensive. This I got it for £119. Well, it was $119.99, so 120. In dollars, that's what, 150 or 60 or something, I don't know. And you get all of this. So as you can see, not only do you get these accessories, it doesn't actually show you the Megatron pistol on the back here, which is a little strange, but it does come with it. But you get all those cassettes too, so that's absolutely amazing. Now, as you can see, it has this sleeve on it. Don't worry, you don't have to rip this to get it off. Basically, right at the bottom here, as you can see, it's just pegged in. That's the only little dink on the box that I've got as well, just right at the bottom there, just a little crease. It's nothing too bad. So you just, it's just sellotaped right there, and you just, it actually attaches to the box so it doesn't slide around or anything. And then you can just take that off. I'll just put that down to the side. And now you can see it reveals a very nice Decepticon logo there. Some writing above it. And if we flip it back around, on that side you've got a nice Decepticon logo, and as you can see, it is number 9 of 30. It is part of the 3 of 30 line because it's Hasbro release. And now the box, personally I think this looks absolutely awesome. Just Transformers Masterpiece and then Soundwave down the side. I think that looks incredible. You know, it's not like the Optimus package where it was open and everything. That's great for trying to sell for kids, but this is a really nice. So you can take that sleeve off, and then collectors can have this great box. So you're not missing out really on the Takara box, because this looks just as good in my opinion. So yeah, that's it for the exterior. Let's get this open and see what's inside. So here we are then. This is absolutely everything that you get in the package. Everything aside from these, which is the instructions. So it's a double-sided sheet. On the one side you see the mould, so you get Laserbeak and Buzzsaw, Ravage, Frenzy and Rumble. It shows you how to transform those guys. And then on the other side you get the Soundwave transformation. I'd say it's a pretty decent sheet. It's you know, it's black and white. It's got bits of colour on there, just in purple arrows. It does a pretty decent job of showing you how to transform it. It is pretty self-explanatory once you take a look at it and just get a bit used to it. Just, you know, unlike other Masterpiece figures where maybe you don't need the instructions, but it might just take a little while to get it transformed. With this, you can look at it and think, well, that should be there, that should be there, you know, because he's quite blocky, so it is a bit of an easier masterpiece transformation. Yet it does still involve you quite a lot, and it is a very, very nice transformation indeed. But first, let's get to some of the accessories. So as you can see, it comes with something that we have certainly seen before a few times, the Megatron pistol. I think this may have came with a Starscream masterpiece, and it came with the MP-4 Optimus Prime, I believe it was, or it may have been the first one, I'm not too sure. But yeah, it has been used a few times, and with this basically you just flip that down so that you can put it in the hand. It doesn't lock in or anything, it just sits in the hands like that. Or if you want it as a display in Megatron, then that's perfectly fine. So articulation with this, it has this basically can come off, this can come off, and this can come off. So you have this basic pistol if you want that. So you have that. If we just slide this back on the here, there's a hinge at the bottom, so that can go up and down, and then there's that hinge there for the stock that can go up and down, and then you can put these back on for a more accurate Megatron look. So this is a really awesome accessory. It is my first version of this gun, but it's no different to any that we've gotten in the past, and I am very pleased to have this, as I now have a realistic Megatron Alt Mode masterpiece that I can put on display. So there's that, and then as you can see, the array of cassettes. So I'm just going to put these to the side for a moment. I'll show you exactly what these are later on. But basically, the cassettes, they all come in these nice cassette cases. Now with the Takara version, they were a translucent pink. These ones are just clear. So as you can see close up here, it does say Transformers at the bottom there. I would prefer the translucent pink ones. For the look of the cassettes inside, I prefer it in clear ones. It gives you a more realistic look of an old cassette case, really, because majority of them were just clear ones, and I think it's better because you can see the colours through them and everything. But as they are on their own, I like to, as you can see, you know, you can stack them, and they look a bit like compressed energon cubes. So when Soundwave uses this, which I'll show you later on, and brings it out of his chest to create energon cubes, they're pretty big, as you can see there. And when they were in a stack, he would compress them down, and they would be like that. So as you can see, 3 of them creates basically that, and that is accurate to the show, and it's really cool. And I think basically that's why they did do in translucent pink, so that the ones that you're not using for your figures you can have as compressed energon cubes. That's the only thing. I mean, you know, for the amount of price that you pay for this thing, the amount of money that you're saving, I am perfectly fine with this. You know, you're basically saving nearly $200 if you were to get everything here. So really enjoy the fact that you know, you do get the cases and everything. Whoop-de-doo if they're not pink. But as you can see here, we have Ravage, and then this guy, I'm going to say Rumble throughout it. You can call him Frenzy if you wish, but I am a fan of the show. I do have some of the comics. I don't have an older Rumble or Frenzy toy, but from the G1 show, I see this as Rumble. So yeah. Then Laserbeak, this is what you would get, the only one that you would get, I might add, with the normal masterpiece Soundwave. And then here we have who I'm going to call Frenzy, and then here we have Buzzsaw. So if I just move these guys over a little bit, I'm going to show you with these two how they interact with Soundwave's eject feature. So first of all, we're going to take one out of its case here. And whilst I'm still young, I am old enough to remember cassettes. I have a hell of a lot of them. And to be honest, I was quite sad when CDs came along. So for me to have this, it brings back a lot of memories of my childhood. And yeah, it is awesome to finally have something like this as a toy. So that opens up very nice. And before I just do that, I have seen on some people's, I think it may have been Pior's, this symbol was raised up a little bit, as you can see on mine, and as with Optibotimus's version, although it wasn't his, the one on the review that he put up yesterday, it is the same as this, so they're in the same position logo wise as the Takara version, whereas I've seen others, they have been slightly misplaced a bit further up. But anyway, carrying on. Some people have complained about this not working too great, a bit like the Fall of Cybertron Soundwave. So what I'm going to show you is that's just lies, basically. Oh look, it works perfectly fine every time. Basically, this mold is the best mold to use in there. But basically, you see how the circles here for the tape, they're a bit lower on that side. If they're there, they're a bit higher. Basically, because they're not in direct center. Whatever mold it is you're using, if they are lower, it will work to the best of its ability. Now, every now and then it does get stuck, but as you can see, there you go. But as you can see, 9 times out of 10 it does work, and if it does that, then you can just flip it forward. I'll show you with the Frenzy mold. Now, this one of mine did get a little stuck every now and then. Nothing too major, so make sure that they are transformed. Well, it tends to be the feet. As you can see, they sort of stick out a little bit at the side there. You just want to make sure that they are fine. So as you can see, that you put the circles towards the bottom end of it. Now, this one didn't work all the time when I did it before, and there you go. It doesn't. It nearly comes out. It just needs that little bit extra, but it's nothing too bad. If you do hold it forward, come on. Okay, that one may be just like mistransformed in some way. Give it a good tight squeeze and back in. No, okay, he really doesn't want to work. He's nearly working. He is nearly working. As you can see, Laserbeak here. Just slot Laserbeak in, and of course he didn't want to do it. If I lean it forward a little bit, Laserbeak works perfectly fine. And it's the same with all of them if you want to see it with a different mould. Here's Ravage. Now this is the one that gets stuck on me every single time, no matter what way I put it in. As you can see, all you got to do is just flip it forward and it'll work every time. If you do hold your Soundwave forward like this, even with this mould, it works 9 times out of 10. But that is the feature. Now you can hold more in there at once. You simply push this whole section in here back. If I just bring it to you for a bit more light, this whole section in the back here, just push it back like so, and this release catch brings it forward, so like that. So you can give that a good old push in there, and we'll take Laserbeak and push him to the back. Don't fall over, thank you very much. I'll just use those two. I don't want to risk anything getting stuck again. So you put those in, like so. It can hold 3 in there. Close this, push the latch. As you can see, it brought them to the forward, brought them to the front. Give it a put. Well, sort of. It doesn't really want to work amazingly like that, does it? Try again. No, with more than one in there, it doesn't really want to do that for some reason, because it's trying to push Laserbeak through for some reason. Let's try it again, but with that in there first. Push one in. Make sure it's all transformed real nice. Put him in. Close it up, push him forward. Yeah, it doesn't really want to do that very well. It's constantly trying to. That's kind of weird. So this time I'm going to try again without pushing that latch and see what happens. So we're going to not do it very well. If I hold it forward, Laserbeak will flip forward. So Strange. So with another one in there, it seems to not really do it all too well. Because it seems to want to push it, and it's not pushing it all the way. So there you go. On my particular version, using multiple cassettes, that is the first time I've done it. Using multiple cassettes does not work as well. So there you go. So no idea why that happened, but what we're going to do now is just swiftly carry on and forget that that ever happened. Basically, what you get with the Rumble and Frenzy stuff is the pile drivers and the guns, and they are in these nice little things. So I'll use the Frenzy one here because I like Rumble the most, and that's the one I'll be showing you in robot mode for the transformation. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this little connector that was just filling up that gap in the back of Soundwave, and this connects to the side of him like that, you know, where you'd have the power cable. But what you can do is you can attach it to the top. You've got those two little holes. You can put that in the top there, and that looks like a battery compartment. And then you can plug that into the side of him like so, and there you go. You could pretend it's an MP3 player and you're playing some music through it, or as I see it, as some kind of like a portable battery charger or something, or just, you know, some batteries, you're sticking something in the side of him. I'm pretty sure that I remember from the show how he used to have a cable that could come out and it goes and then plugs into a computer, and that was like that socket. I could be wrong. It's been a hell of a long time since I've watched any G1, but I'm pretty sure that that's what it is, and you can just put that back in the butt region just so it fills the back up, and you just get a bit more silver there, so it just attracts you away from that gap. But anyway, for the features on him, this does not light up, but it is the on light and the recording light. These two here are buttons. They just spring loaded. As you can see, they spring in. They are very nice chrome. These aren't. The play, record and stop are not buttons, but the fast forward and rewind are. On the left here we have an on and off switch. Mine's a little loose. When I first got it, the first few times I did this, well, I say when I first got it, I opened it a few hours ago, but it did stay up, but now it doesn't want to for some reason. So there's that. It might just be a matter of it not being, it may have come loose just in there. I don't know, maybe it's a bit of wear from the mould, but it's not as tight as it once was about an hour ago. Then again, the house has heated up since, so maybe just a little bit of warmth means that that has expanded enough to not be tight. I have no idea. But on the back, there's what you can see there. There's not really much to show you there. And then on the side, we have some nice details. A volume, which does move a little bit. If I just focus in on here, the volume does move. Only that much. Let's leave it on full. And then you have that connector. And then for the top, that is the very cohesive flat top of Soundwave. So yeah, and then apart from that, obviously you've just got the eject button and the where is it there? The latch for pushing the tape decks forward. So that's about it for this mode. But before we transform him, let's transform some of his little minions. So if I just put him to one side, first of all, I'm going to bring over this guy, Ravage. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with these two bits up the top here. We're going to bring them together. And as you can see quite clearly, it forms the face of Ravage. So next what we're going to do is this piece here, bring it up so that untabs the two legs. And we're just going to give that a little push around to the side, which then opens that up. So now we're going to do the same on the other side, but before I do that, I can just show you this little bit of white down here. That is a stress just there. As you can see the line there, that is actually a stress mark, because this bit is incredibly thin. If I just unpeg this to show you and bring it round, look at how thin that little piece is. and I nearly made the mistake of pulling it down. It does stress it a little bit. Now, it was already a tiny little bit like it, but the first time I transformed this, that's when that appeared. It didn't actually, I couldn't physically see it bend or anything. It's just when I finished transforming it, I just looked at it and was like, that's more white than it was before. So, I don't know, I'm pretty sure that it wasn't that white when I had it, but it may have been already like it. I know I did see a stress mark when I looked at the cassette first. I just have no idea if I did it, if it got worse as a result of transforming, or if that's just the way it was anyway. But just, something to look at and be careful of anyway. So now you just unfold the legs, bring the sides down, and then just position them however you like. And then you do the same thing with the front side, so you just fold the legs down so that they're in a sort of pantherish kind of mode. And there we go. So, very nice. You certainly cannot look at that and think cassette straight away. I think it's probably one of the best Ravage molds, if not the best, that we have ever seen that works as a functional cassette and still retains the entire look of the G1, not just figure but overall design from the show as well anyway. So here's a close-up of the face once it gets a bit of focus. That's quite close, there we go. So he's got nice red eyes, nice sharp teeth, giant hole in the middle of his face, but we can just ignore that. I'm not sure, but I think on the original ones there may have been like a little gun or something that came out the front. So I don't know if you went back to your G1 figure or something, if there was a gun that you could take off it, because I know the cassettes are the same size. So I wonder if there's something that you can peg in there or something. But as you can see on mine, there's nothing there. So whether there's supposed to be something there or if you're able to put something in, I have no idea, but there's nothing else in the box. So, yeah, no idea. But anyway, carrying on, you have the nice silver on there, the nice Decepticon logos. Articulation, you've got full ball joints at the shoulder, whatever that is there. Rotation, you have that joint right there. And then you have the little feet. And then up here, we have this whole section that rotates. And then you have like a double jointed sort of thing, because that rotates there, then that rotates on there, if you can see that. And then you got the paw as well. So basically that's enough for Ravage. I've gone on for long enough, but yeah, absolutely awesome. I adore this thing as a cassette, and yeah, I would not want to pay the amount that you have to for the actual Masterpiece one from Takara, but absolutely epic, and I love this thing. Let's move on to Rumble. So for Rumble, these are all the parts that you get. So let's start with the cassette and then move on to what you can do with that. So what we're going to do is flip it around, because this is the front. So first what we're going to do is just bring these parts up the top. We're going to bring that out, fold out the foot, and basically you just keep on wiggling these knee bits out. They're on a few double jointed foldy bits inside there, until that sits at the front of the leg there, and then just give it a little rotate. Again, just wiggle it. Don't pull too hard, because you'll pop it off the ball joint that's in there. It's quite easy to come out of there with a bit of force. Bring it to the front, rotate. You can bring down the foot, upper body. What you're going to want to do now is bring the hands out. If you do not have long nails, I suggest get someone who does. Mine are okay, but when I first had it, the initial, the first movement, they were very, very stiff. I had a lot of trouble not so long ago getting those out. But once you've done that, you can bring up the chest like that, and then the head is here, so you just rotate this whole section out. If I can just get in there we go. So we're just going to flip that up, rotate it around, and there he is, fully transformed. That is either Rumble or Frenzy. I'm going to call him Rumble for the time being. So as you can see, colour wise, he looks fantastic. Now he is different to the one you get with Takara. His colours, I believe, are ever so slightly different shades. I think they're either slightly lighter or slightly darker. It's one of the two. I can't really remember too much, but yeah, a lot of people have said that the faces, like the shade of silver, it's a bit more of a kind of gunmetal than what the other one was. As you can see, the light's shining off it quite a lot right now. But a lot of people have said that it does look a lot better. Now, instead of the silver chrome on his chest, you're getting silver paint. I think that that's better for the playability faction because it won't actually scratch up as much as chrome does. So if you are getting this for a kid, or if you are a kid, then yeah, it's perfect for you. Basically, you still have the nice Decepticon logo there, Articulation. You have this shoulder joint, and then obviously due to transformation, you can also bring it up there. It's a ball joint, so it has full range of motion. You have the 90-degree arms, and then the hands rotate in a little bit. You have no waist because it's just that. And so I think on the original Takara version, some people were having troubles. Like some people's didn't click up like that, and it just kept flopping back down. But to be honest, that doesn't really do much. It gives him a little bit more height, and just sort of points out that he has actually got a waist. But it's not too bad anyway. If that does come back down. The head does rotate, as you saw from transformation, and then you can sort of look up because of transformation. The hips are on a ball, so they can go around, they rotate and they come out. And then you have a joint at the top there, so you get that, and then you have a knee joint right there, and then the feet are on a ball joint down here, so they go up and down, left and right. So overall, this guy has really awesome articulation. I'm really impressed by these guys. So these, what you can do is you can plug them into the back of either Rumble or Frenzy. And if my memory serves me right, there was an episode in G1 whereby he went to the bottom of a river or a lake, and he was going to make an earthquake. And I think it was to bust the dam or something. And in that episode, I think he uses it as like a hydro jetpack sort of thing to get to the bottom of the lake, where he then transformed and used them as his pile drivers. So if that is aimed towards that sort of episode, or if I'm thinking a bit wrong or something, but I have no idea. But I'm pretty sure that did happen, and that is what this is in sort of memory of. But you can take these off this, and you can still store this on his back if you want to. You can just put that there and have that stored there if you really want to. But for now, I'm just going to put that off to one side. And these are the pile drivers. So if you flip this door up, you can push these out. Now they do only fit, like this one will only fit in this, it won't fit in the other one. And you have these little guns. So as they are, with that peg out, they can actually, if I can ask for the back, so they peg onto the back there like that, so you can have two of those. I'll just show you real quick. Get that out. You can indeed peg them onto the back if it wants to go in. There we go. So very nice, adds a lot of nice detail to him, adds some height, really looks awesome. Or you can take them off, you can move the peg back. As you can see, he's got two pegs. Move the peg back so that that little one is showing, peg it in the hand, and you can now use it as a handheld gun, which is really pretty cool. Now this and the other mold, the red mold, they are exactly the same, so I'm only showing you this with the one mold. and the guns will only, as I said, fit in their own certain ones, and they have to fit in like that with the peg out like so. So I'll move the guns over to one side. The pile drivers, let's just get him ready for them. So you put the hand away, you flip it round just like that. These extend and it clips in, simple as. So you can have the two of those on and you can have him pile driving the hell out of something, but as you can see, just standing up, that does not reach the ground. I can fit a cassette under it, so you'd have to move the legs and make him hit the ground like that. That's fine. Oh, and you also close that up. That's perfectly fine. However, if you flick it round like so, it won't clip in. It frictions itself in at an angle. It doesn't go in all the way, but then you don't have that ball joint showing. I personally prefer it the other way, just because it's more cohesive and it's 90 degrees and it's the way that it's supposed to be done. But like that, as you can see now, it pretty much does reach the ground, so it looks a little better in terms of him reaching the ground and you being able to have him in a more upright stance when he does reach the ground. Now you can have it closed with his arm in it as well, so you can have one open and one closed, because they always hit the ground like that. They didn't come, well, they did come down together, but normally they'd hit the ground like that. So yeah, really good display options. It's really awesome that you get so many accessories for a little cassette like this. I think that is absolutely incredible, and it is the same, as I said, for the other version of this mold. So now let's move on to the one cassette that everyone loves. It's the one that you get in the Takara Set 2. It is the one and only Laserbeak. It is a very, very nice cassette. I think personally it's the weakest cassette in cassette mode. For instance, the top here, as you can see, they, at least on mine anyway, it's the same with the buzzsaw mold. They kind of, basically these bits on the top here are the feet, and it's just hard to get them. I mean, they pretty much go together, but these, if you want to get this bit in the middle here straight, then that bit there's not straight, so you push that, and they're constantly, you're constantly fiddling with it. It will eventually get right, but it's just a little bit more of a fiddle to get completely right. However, it is the one that gets stuck the least time in Soundwave. So yeah, it doesn't affect its ability to sit inside the tape deck. So anyway, transformation, what you want to do is bring out the wings first. If I can get my finger in there and ferret them out. There we go. There's one. There's two. So now that they're out, what you can do is basically on the bottom here you have this little hole here which you can push through, enabling you to then reach for the head, because it's hard to get that out by yourself. So they have that little hole so you can just push through and get the head up like that. And now these parts right here, you just rotate round where the head was, so you do have to get the head out first, and then you can flick up the little fins, and there's Laserbeak's engines. When I first saw this thing on pictures, I really thought, wow, that is absolutely incredible that they've turned that cassette into something that looks perfect like Laserbeak. And as you can see, you just move the feet out there, move the wings back, put the wings in whatever position you want, and then you have Laserbeak. So yeah, and honestly, it just absolutely shouts perfection. Laserbeak G1 was pretty awesome, but this even surpasses that, and it is the best Laserbeak mold that we have ever gotten. In my personal opinion, all of these cassettes are the best molds that we've ever gotten as something that actually works in cassettes, because we get Rumble and Frenzy quite a lot, but as proper full-size figures. But this is absolutely awesome. Really, really nice paint detail. You've got those two Decepticon logos on the top there. Really nice silver. Colour differences, basically nothing. The Frenzy, the red is a slight different red to the original, but you know, holding them apart, you can't tell. And then Ravage is completely the same. The Rumble is the only one that you can look at and say, yes, that is a different colour. This one is essentially exactly the same, the Laserbeak, and same with the Buzzsaw, but the Buzzsaw is more of a yellow instead of orangey kind of colour like the other one. I saw that on Optibonomus's video yesterday. So the gimmick for this is you can flick up his little spy cam, which he used in the very first episode, right at the very start of Transformers Generation 1, Episode 1, and it starts off, it's when you first get an appearance of a Transformer for that matter. You get Wheeljack and Bumblebee, and they're getting back to Autobot HQ, and Laserbeak's following them to find out where the HQ is, and then you've got Soundwave as the lamppost, which is the little gimmick that you see in the game, which is awesome. I can't remember if it was Fall of Cybertron or War for Cybertron, but yeah, really awesome. But yeah, that is what that gimmick is from. It was used all through G1, but that came in the very first episode, so very nice. It's actually the first Decepticon that we see. So yeah, really awesome, and I'll show you more of what you can do with Laserbeak when we get to the robot mode. So, speaking of robot mode, I'm going to bring the camera up a little bit here. I'm going to bring Soundwave forward, and just one extra thing to point out with Soundwave is people have said from both versions that they have a load of scratches on this, but as you can see, mine is in pretty much pristine condition. You can't see, if I just open it up you might be able to see through a little bit better, but scratches practically non-existent. So basically with Soundwave what you want to do is start off with the bottom half and then work up to his top half. So first of all, to transform Soundwave, what we're going to do is this piece down here, which is going to be the waist, just bring up and separate it a little bit and just flip it down. It rotates, and this is when we can bring these bits in like so, and they come together, and then these bits rotate. As you can see, they rotate down like that. What we're going to do now is we're going to sort the legs out before we flip that back. What I'm also going to do, I'm just going to take this piece off. It can stay there and it can go on the back in robot mode, but I'm going to take it off for now, just so that I don't accidentally knock it off whilst I'm transforming him. Now I'm going to show you this now just because it'll be a little bit easier than when we get to the robot mode, but these sections here, if I can get in, if I open the feet up a little bit it might help. There we go. These pop open. You can actually store those little silver guns, these, in there. So if you have them on display and you're not using the guns and you don't know where to put them, you don't want to lose them, you can store them in there. Now it is a bit finagling and stuff, and there is a little slot inside there for the wing, and it is a very tight fit, but you can get them in there and there is storage, so you get one in each of those. So just a little thing just to show you, because it'll be easier to show you now than when it is transformed as a foot, because this whole flap here that I've just taken out, that is a foot. So we're going to bring it out and flip it round, and then this piece down here disconnects from this, if I can. There we go. And then that flips around, and we're just going to flip it out of the way for now. Then this entire piece disconnects from the main body of Soundwave, like so. It's really in there, very nice. Flip it down, extend the leg, and then we're going to flip that down further like so. And then we're going to rotate round just down the bottom here. Then we can just flatten the feet out a little bit, push this down, and push that in just the way you want it to go, so that that is nice and flat, because you don't want that out like so. So keep that nice and flat down there, and that is a leg done. And there is the bottom half of Soundwave done. So now, moving to this waist piece, you literally just have to push that down, and then just make sure that these are folded up into his butt, and that's it. So that is the point where this will go. So if you wish, you can keep that, if I can get it in there, connected, but I don't like to put it there, and I'm going to show you what else you can do with it in robot mode. So now what we're going to do, up the top here, if I just bring it around this way, you might be able to see a little bit better. There's a couple of flaps here. They're not really tabbed anything in particular, but they just cover up these things on the side, so they'll be his guns. So what you want to do is make sure the tabs are up and just rotate the arms forward, locking them into place. Push the tabs down, they cover up the screw holes, and there you go. And speaking of the screw holes, that is one of the differences between this version and the Takara version. The screws are all a nice bluey silver, whereas on the Takara version they were all black. I think it's a massive improvement to have them like this. As you saw, if I just bring Rumble back, these screws here have actually been painted over. As black, I think that they really don't look very nice at all. As silver, they do look good, but mine have actually been painted over, so mine are even more cohesive there. I just thought I'd show you that now before I forget. So carrying on, now we can bring the head up. So we're going to flip this back. There it is inside. You literally just flip it up, push that back. We're going to take the arm, flip it up, open it up inside this little cavity, rotate the fist out, close it back up, and that's that done. So with this one, as you can see, it has the same ports for this. So you can plug this in here, and now you can have him connecting to a computer, or you can use it as a blaster or whatever you want. He has that extra functionality. Now that that's done, we have a fully transformed masterpiece Soundwave, and this thing looks absolutely awesome. Now as you can see here more clearly, he does have the yellow eyes, and I think that that looks fantastic. It's not just a flat painted yellow, it's a very nice metallic yellow. You can see it really shining away there. And also you do have a little bit of silver just inside that crest on the head there, which I really like. They didn't have to put that there. He looks absolutely awesome. Now there's nothing else that's different to the Takara version, so I'm just going to get straight into articulation and functionality. So for articulation here, the head goes up and down, full left and right. For the shoulders, they move out here and full 360 up and down, and then also at the top of the arm it comes out just there. It rotates there, has a nice double jointed elbow, and the hands are really nice. They are just like the MP-10 hands, whereby you have those three fingers together, a articulated index finger at 2 points, and then the moulded thumb. The hands rotate, but they don't go in and out or move any more than that. And that allows for a great pose if you just push those fingers in, of him pushing his ejector button, which I really do love that feature. But anyway, moving on, he does have waist rotation, and the hips, they are really very nice. They are really strong ratchets. Make sure you hold it up here when you move it. This is really stiff, and then awesome ratchets forward and back. Really very stiff. You really do need to make sure that you're holding it right at the top there. It also rotates at that ball joint. You have 90-degree ratcheted knees, and then the feet, they don't move left and right or anything. They move down a little bit, and they have a really nice side-to-side action for some wide stances, but they do not rotate. So another feature that completes Soundwave's look is his gun. So right on the back here, you flip it up and rotate it all the way around, and there you have his nicely detailed gun. It has the nice red in there. It almost looks like it actually fires something, but it doesn't. and obviously you can have that rotating whichever way he's looking. Now on the other side, on his back, you have this, which is his cannon. So what you want to do here is pull it apart, and then on the bottom here you can pull out the handle. On this side of it, at the tip, you just pull out the very nice chrome gun, which looks exactly the same as Red Alert's gun from Transformers Armada, and open up the fists, and on the inside of the fist you can see he's got that little hole. So you put this in on the side, and then you just close the fist, and that's in there securely. And then if I just take that out, you can also make him hold Megatron's pistol, just like I showed earlier. You just flip that down, it rests in the hand very nicely, and then you just close the fist around it, and it's in there very securely. So there you have him holding Megatron. So now onto Laserbeak. Because he has these ridges on his feet, there's also ridges on the shoulders. They just fit together, whichever foot you want to use. I'm just going to demonstrate one foot for now, but you know, he can sit on the shoulder. If I can just, I'll just move it in. Actually, I'll just use the other one. It looks a bit better, doesn't it? And you can have him sitting on the shoulder. That was just doing it real quick. I'm sure that you can come up with better stances than that. But he has this little clear bit on his wrist there, so you can actually have him posed just there like that, which I think is absolutely awesome. It's one of the poses that really makes Soundwave and Laserbeak, and it's amazing that you can actually finally get this pose of these two. So absolutely incredible. Now another thing that you can do with Soundwave is take this box, take the front off it, and you can plug it onto the chest, as if he's actually creating energon cubes, which I really do like. Or you can put this grid on the chest. Now it doesn't come with the sheets of paper that you put underneath to make it look like he's got something on display, but you can give him that grid on the chest, and this cube will also plug onto that grid. So if you want the grid and the cube, you can do. But that is everything. And here's a size comparison next to MP-10. So this is actually the Hasbro version of Optimus. These are the two Masterpiece figures that I own, so they are both from Hasbro, and as you can see, it's nearly as big. So for the price, you're getting something that's nearly as big as arguably the best Masterpiece ever. It has just as good detail. You're getting all of those accessories. Absolutely 100% recommend this. So that has been my review of the Masterpiece Soundwave. If you want to leave a comment or a like, then please do. And subscribe for more Masterpieces. If you want to see my Iron Man Helmet Part 2 per Procura, that will be coming soon. I've just had a lot to do recently. And I do have a big order from TF Source that will be here at the end of the month. That will comprise of Make Toys Hypernova. It will also be the Fans Project Diesel. And there'll be some Fall of Cybertron figures in there too. And an old generation Red Alert. So yes, stay tuned for those figures. Thanks for watching this review. Highly recommend this. The amount of accessories that you get with the price and everything, it's absolutely incredible. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Rotated in the wrong way. You saw nothing. What the hell's going on with this shit? I didn't rotate in the wrong way, I did it the right way.